Hello, students. Hello. This is Dr. Abdullah Zirawa. We want to talk about some of the management information systems concepts that we need to know. So, when we discuss about the fundamentals of information systems, it is important that we understand what an information system is. An information system is a set of electronic components that help us to correct, analyze, and disseminate data and information so that we meet an objective as an organization. So anything that is electronic or that has an electronic component and the aim is to correct data, analyze it, and disseminate information to stakeholders, that is fit to be called an information system. So there are two issues here to talk about or to think about. That is data and information. And the data are raw facts. They can be texts, they can be images, audio, videos, and we understand that data cannot help us to make any decisions. But what is very important is information. Information is data that has been processed and analyzed, and that will enable organizations to meet their objectives and also to take decisions. So, some of the characteristics of the information, unlike data, some of the characteristics of information is that it should be accurate, reliable, relevant, verifiable, and variable. So we should be able, as students that are learning management information systems, we should understand that there are two components or two aspects when we want to understand MIS. The first one is data and the second one is information. So we should be able to draw a line and know the difference between the two and know how to understand these great concepts. So the other aspect I would like to talk about is a system. What is a system? At first, we defined what we call an information system. Now we are talking about what a system is. A system is a collection of elements or components that are intertwined to interact with each other to accomplish goals. And the system is comprised or composed of inputs, processing mechanisms, outputs, feedback, and assessment. And we must understand that many processes, whether or not they have a significant information system component, they can be viewed as systems. Even if it does not have information system component, it can still be viewed as systems. For example, since you guys are at university, the university admission processes are done, and that can be a system. The justice and criminal justice system, the production and inventory management system. So that is the key concepts of what a system is. Lastly, let us talk about organizations. Organizations can be classified according to systems they employ. We have organizations that use complex systems, and then we have organizations that use simple systems. We have organizations that use open systems. Open, they are open um, and available for everybody. And then we have organizations that use closed information systems. So we also have organizations that use and employ stable uh, and all dynamic systems. We also have organizations that employ adaptive or non-adaptive, permanent or temporary. So system performance can be measured in three dimensions. That is efficiency, effectiveness, and equity. Equity is fairness. So for us to conclude that a system is doing well, it means that that system is efficient, the system is effective, and equitable. So systems are designed, implemented, and managed using models or abstractions of reality. So which will allow us to apply principles assumed to be true for many systems. So I would like you to understand some of the model types that we can use to implement or design or manage information systems. We have what we call the narrative model. Narrative model. This one bases its applications and principles on verbal descriptions. Verbal. You describe the futures, the goals, the resources verbally. Then we have uh, the physical models. Physical model are prototypes. They are mock-ups. They are things you see and they are imitating or they are a replica of a bigger aspect. They are called prototypes. Then we have semantic models. Semantic models, we use graphs, we use flow charts to understand how to design, implement, and use information systems. Then we have the mathematical model, the equations and their relations. So all these models are based on all these models based on several assumptions like physical performance limitations, market conditions, legal restrictions, and these assumptions must be well known if one is going to design, implement, and manage information systems. So these are, if I can summarize a bit, these are the components of an information system. We have inputs where you enter data. You may do it physically or you may do it electronically or conceptual. Or you may use manual processes to enter the data, or you may have automated processes. But what we have to understand is that input is a key component of information systems. You have to input the data. You have to enter the data into the system. Yeah, the second component is the processing component. That is to convert the inputs or to convert the data to outputs. Okay, this can include computations, data storage, or it may be manual or automated. Then the third component is outputs. That is information, data has been manipulated to be converted into information. And once we have the outputs, we have this information that we can use to make decisions. So it may be delivered on paper form. Okay, output can come out on paper form or it can be electronic. Or outputs of one system may be inputs to another system, depending on the kind of systems. The last component of an information system is feedback and assessment. Once we have outputs, uh, and we know that they are working well, then we can evaluate the output or the feedback. We can evaluate the output of the feedback to improve system performance. For example, if based on the assessment of the output, we can be able to understand that there is incorrect processing, or we can be able to desire managerial interventions, or we can forecast some of the future input values that we can use for that particular system. So I would like to talk about computer-based information system components. We have traditional systems, and we have traditional systems and we have computer-based. Computer-based information system has components like the hardwares, the computer equipment that is used. The hardwares are used to input, process, and output information. We have, I think you were taught this in your computer studies classes. So we also have another computer-based information system component, and that is software, computer programs that run on hardware. And we keep telling people that we have the system software and application software. Then we have databases. And I think you saw this on your course outline, the databases. Databases are specialized application softwares that are designed to organize data and information in an organization's operations. You sometimes people interchangeably use databases to mean information systems, you know, but databases are software applications that organizations use to organize data and information. We have infrastructure. Infrastructure is also a component of it's a component of computer-based information systems. So we have equipment that we use to link the hardware into the space, like the internet is an infrastructure, the networks, the telecommunications. It is important that you have all this if you want to have a complete information system, computer based. These are the components that you are supposed to have. Then we have the people. Let us not forget the people, the information system personnel, and the users. They are also part of the information system component. Then lastly, we have the procedures. We have procedures for developing and using information systems. So those are the components of computer-based information system. I would like also to talk about business information systems, where we have transaction processing, day-to-day automation of routine, day-to-day labor-intensive resources and processes, such as the payroll, the customer purchases, accounts payable. So these transaction processing systems, um, they run on less flexible technologies. They are a bit older. They run on less flexible technologies, and they they are mainframe based with their big computers and all that. I also like to talk about e-commerce. E-commerce is an aspect of business information systems where we have commercial transactions that are conducted electronically. And we have business to business, business to consumer, public sector to business, public sector to customer. And e-commerce is now the way to go. And it is estimated that over 434 billion dollars have devoted to use of e-commerce transaction systems. So we also have management information systems. It's also part of business where we have business, we have where people come together with procedures, with softwares, hardwares, and databases, which is designed to generate information for managements to take decisions about their business strategies. Okay, so it can be in marketing, it can be in finance, it can be in operations, or it can be in transactions. Then we have the decision support systems. These are MISs or management information systems intended to address specific complex decision problems requiring interaction of managerial and machine expertise. So we can have the databases, the models, the user interfaces, and the reporting. So there is a demo here. We have a demo, and the demo looks at the workforce training information systems that was fall in 1998. We have policy contexts, we have desired features, and then implementations. I know you'll read more about this demo to understand how this can be put in context. So, as I end today's class, permit me to talk about information systems development. But I know that at this level, you are not developers. You are mainly, um, we are introducing to you MIS, Management Information Systems, as users. But if you're a developer, these are the stages you go through in your development. You do analysis and design. You must identify a problem. It should not be that you implement a system, a management information system, without a problem that it is addressing. You have to justify that the solution approach, then you have to gather what we call the system requirements, the project teams, and of course the models. Then you go to another stage, which is implementation. You do prototyping, large scale development, the testing, and the deployment. You can read more about these aspects. Then finally, once the system is deployed, you think about maintenance to be able to support the customers and also to make upgrades in case there is outdated aspects of the system. So if you are doing information systems or information technology or management information systems, these are the kinds of jobs that you can do. For example, you can work in operations. In an organization, you can be operations director or technical operations director, where you do systems maintenance, you do data entry, and local area network operations. But still, you can also be a developer, systems development, where you are a software developer or systems developer to develop the systems. That's also another job. But you can also have the job of support, okay, support, where you support with data administration and then web development and maintenance. Can also put aspects of interface and look at the many functional areas, and you do planning and you help people to participate in teams in building policy to relate policy and information systems. So those are the jobs and those are the careers. And I would like to end and say thank you so much. It's a recorded lecture because I came in late. I understand that if you read this, I mean, you go through this lecture, you will be able to understand the key components that we are supposed to talk about today. This is Dr. Abdallah. Have a good time and bye bye.